Hello everyone, it's me again, and I'm back here with another video, and in this video I'm going to show you guys another Synchron Junk Speeder combo. Now I know I already uploaded a Junk Speeder combo earlier this week, but I did want to make another one. The main reason why is because I wanted to try and optimize the combo just a little bit more. The main reason I didn't like that old combo was because I was using multiple copies of Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary, and don't get me wrong, that card is incredibly strong. It's basically another Omni Negate, but it can't happen right away. It basically has to respond to another card that responded to your card activation. So Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary isn't as strong as another Omni Negate card that would just negate immediately, but at the same time it's still very powerful. The card is definitely worth running because it has two very powerful effects that you won't want to miss out on if you're playing a Synchro deck. During the turn a card you control is tributed on the field, you get to banish this card from the grave to activate this effect. The card will let you summon another Stardust Synchro monster from your extra deck. Now the big issue is that it doesn't treat the monster it summons as a proper Synchro, so you can't summon some of the really broken ones. However, you can still summon another card like Stardust Warrior. That card is really good because that card can just negate a special summon, and that's pretty powerful. The unfortunate thing though is that Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary doesn't treat the monster it summons as a proper Synchro, so if you tribute Stardust Warrior for its own effect, the card will not return to your field during the end phase. However, that's not a problem at all, mainly because you have to remember the monster that you got off the effect of Victim Sanctuary was for free. It's just a free negate and no one would ever complain about that. Now the second reason why I wanted to update my Synchron combo so soon is because I want to cut pretty much almost every brick I can out of this deck. If you've ever played Junk Speeder and Synchron in the past, you know that this deck used to be really bricky, and I mean this deck used to be horribly bricky. I played this deck way before we got cards like Assault Synchron, Revolution Synchron, Starter Synchron. This deck was just awful back then. The main reason why is because you had to play a high amount of Synchron tuner monsters in your deck to summon off of Junk Speeder's effect. Pretty much none of the old Synchron tuner monsters could summon themselves from the hand easily, so they were just stuck there. Those cards honestly were just awful, and they were a true brick because if you drew the card then you couldn't summon it from the deck. Konami honestly has been making a really good job fixing this issue because they keep giving us good Synchron monsters that we can use in our hand. Scrap Synchron is very good, it's a tuner monster that can be used as material in your hand. Then you also have Assault Synchron who can summon itself for free just by taking 700 damage. You have other cards like Revolution Synchron who can be used in your hand as Synchro material and can even bring itself back from the grave. You also have a card like Stardust Synchron who can summon itself from the hand, who's also a rota for a spell or trap that mentions Stardust Dragon. This is why I'm a really big fan of how Konami has been supporting the Junk Speeder Synchron combo deck. Basically now, anytime we get a new Synchron tuner monster, the monster will either let you use the card in your hand as material or summon itself to the field. Konami understands now if the card doesn't have either one of those effects, it's just gonna be a brick and they don't want that. I like this a lot and it's making the Synchron deck really consistent now. With the new support that Synchron have got out of Blazing Dominion, this deck is so consistent now. This deck has real starter cards now, they have real extender cards, and they also have so many ways to put up a Herald of Arclight before your 5th summon. This means that it will protect your Junk Speeder if your opponent has Nibiru, which is fantastic. Also, we have the new broken spell card called Junk Signal out of Blazing Dominion. That card is so good. It turns any random hand trap that you would draw into full combo, or it makes it so your Junk Speeder can't get hit by Ash Blossom. It's also searchable and a quick play card, so you can activate it on your opponent's turn if you wanted to. That card basically does it all. So this is why I wanted to make a revision of my previous combo. I want to optimize it a lot more and take out a lot of the garnets and make more space in the extra deck. We have just been getting so many good Synchro monsters lately that we're gonna have to cut cards in the extra deck to make room for them. On top of that, in the future, we are definitely getting more good Synchro monsters as well. With the new Overframe cards coming out in the Limit Overpack, we're definitely gonna get more Overframes in the future, even if they don't arrive immediately. We're gonna get an Overframe for Red Dragon Archfiend, an Overframe for Black Rose Dragon, an Overframe for Ancient Fairy Dragon, an Overframe for Lifestream Dragon, and maybe even an Overframe for Power Tool Dragon. If those cards are going to be on the same level as the Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary, I'm definitely going to want to play those cards in the future. This is why I've already started cutting out some of the old Synchro monsters that we don't need anymore. On top of that, there's another really good tuner monster called Phydralis Harmonia. This card is amazing. It's basically a hand trap for Synchro decks that would get you up to 2 interruptions on the opponent's turn. You get to destroy a card on the field, and you would also be able to send Maulong from your extra deck to the grave to bounce another card on the field. This is also another reason why I want to make more space. I definitely want to play that card, and I need a space in my extra deck for Maulong. So pretty much I've already started to take out cards in my main deck like Stardust Illumination and Stardust Trail. I don't think they're necessary anymore. I would also like to take Synchro Rumble out of my main deck, but unfortunately I think you still have to play that card. I also was never playing cards like Supersonic Chick or the new Quillbot Hedgehog. The main reason why I never liked those two cards to begin with is because they're really bad bricks in your hand. Now the cards are pretty cool because they do open up some new combo routes, but at the same time they make your deck so much worse. It's pretty cool how a card like Stardust Synchron gets a new combo line out of Synchro Fellows with the new Supersonic Chick. However, at the same time, that's really not worth it because you have to waste your Stardust Synchron search on Synchro Fellows, which isn't very good. You're also just playing another Garnet and Supersonic Chick, which is what I don't want to do. Same thing with the new Quillbot Hedgehog. Yes, I understand you can get a search for the new Quillbot Hedgehog off the effect of Synchro Fellows and send that card to the grave off that card effect. It's pretty nice because if you already started with Full Speed Warrior, you can send a card to the grave that will actually do something. But like I said, my main problem with the card is that it's just a huge brick. It's just terrible to draw. I'm personally not someone who wants to play bricks anymore. I don't care if it'll make my combo better, I just want a consistent deck. If you take a look at modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And you look at the strongest decks in the format, they're not the decks that make the strongest boards. What makes a top deck so good is that they're consistent. They don't have to play very many bricks at all. If the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Were just the ones that had the best combo board, we would all just be playing Cyber's Pile. However, that's not the case for this game. Your deck also has to be very consistent. Another great thing about this combo is that we're no longer playing cards like Axel Sync or Stardust Dragon or the original Stardust Dragon. You also don't have to play the level 10 Genic Synchro anymore either. You could also cut a card like Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon from your extra deck if you wanted to, but I would not recommend that. The card is basically a semi-generic Synchro monster in this deck that can negate monster effects in the hand, which is very good. The fact that that card can negate a monster effect anywhere, like on the field, in the hand, in the grave, or in the banishment is pretty good. Even though I'm not using that card in this combo, you should still run the card. So now we're gonna get into the combo and you guys are gonna see how I optimize this combo line. This combo feels so much better than the last combo I posted. So just like the previous combo, this is gonna be another one card combo that beats Nibiru and Dark Ruler no more. It can also beat another card like Forbidden Crown, basically any spell card that can't be responded to by a monster effect. The only card that you need in your hand to do this combo is Reflector. We're going to start this combo off by normal summoning the Reflector in our hand. Now we're going to activate this monster's effect. If this card is normal or special summoned, you get to add a card that mentions Assault Mode activate from your deck to your hand. We're going to get a search for Assault Sonic Warrior. Now we're going to activate the effect of Assault Sonic Warrior. This card can summon itself from the hand if you control Junk Warrior, Assault Mode activate, or a card that mentions either of those. Reflector specifically mentions Assault Mode activate, so we get to summon this card. Now we're going to activate the effect of Assault Sonic Warrior. If this card is normal or special summoned, you get to take a Synchron monster or Assault Mode activate and add the card to your hand. We're going to use this effect and get a search for Scrap Synchron. Now we're going to use the effect of Scrap Synchron in our hand. You get to use this card as material in your hand for a Synchro summon for a monster that mentions a Synchron Tuner monster as material. We're going to summon Scrap Warrior, and Scrap Warrior specifically mentions Scrap Synchron, so this works. Now we're going to activate the effect of Scrap Warrior. You get to take either Junk Synchron or a card that mentions Junk Warrior, either add the card to your hand or send it to the grave. We're going to get a search for Synchro Fellows. Now here you have a level 1 Tuner monster on the field and a level 3 non-tuner, so you can make Herald of Arclight. That card is incredibly good because it will put up an Omni Negate before your 5th summon, so you'll be safe from Nibiru. However, you don't want to make Herald of Arclight yet. The main reason why is because Herald of Arclight has an effect. If a card is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, the card will get banished instead. This is bad because Synchro Fellows has an effect where you discard a card from your hand. This is why you don't want to make Herald of Arclight yet. You're going to want to activate Synchro Fellows. So we're going to do that. We're going to activate the Synchro Fellows in our hand. This card will let you add Junk Synchron from your deck to your hand, as well as another monster that mentions either Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon. However, if you do so, you have to discard a card from your hand to the grave after. So we're going to get a search for Junk Synchron and Full Speed Warrior. Now the monster that you add to your hand doesn't have to be Full Speed Warrior, but like I said, I'm not playing Quillbot Hedgehog. I'm also not playing another card like Supersonic Chick because like we talked about before, those cards are just bricks. A card like Full Speed Warrior is another monster that you're already playing. So now we're going to discard the Full Speed Warrior that we added to our hand and send that card to the grave. So now we're going to make a Herald of Arclight using our Reflector and our Scrap Warrior. Now we're going to activate the effect of Synchro Fellows in the grave. This card will banish itself from the grave and then you get to target a Synchro monster you control and decrease that monster's level by 1. Now you get another normal summon for a Synchron monster during your main phase, however you only get this effect once per turn. We get to banish the card from our grave to decrease the level of Herald of Arclight by 1. Now we get to normal summon the Junk Synchron from our hand. Also, by the way, this Junk Synchron summon is our 5th summon, so this is the first chance our opponent has to hit us with Nibiru. If your opponent activates Nibiru on your Junk Synchron summon, you're going to activate the effect of Herald of Arclight. You're going to attribute this card on the field and negate the Nibiru. Now here you also get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, so you get to add a card like Habakiri if you're running that. However, I am a respectable Synchron player, so I'm not playing cards like Habakiri. We're not going to do that. So now you're going to activate the effect of Junk Synchron and target your Full Speed Warrior and summon the card back from the grave. Now it's very unfortunate that we had to synchro off our Scrap Warrior because Scrap Warrior has a really good effect here. What Scrap Warrior does if this card is face up on the field, monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or a synchro monster that has Warrior in its name cannot have their activated effects negated. What Full Speed Warrior does if the card is normal or special summoned, it will let you add a spell or trap that mentions Junk Warrior from your deck to your hand. What Junk Synchron does is that the monster that summons back from the grave has its effects negated. What's really cool about Scrap Warrior is that it will prevent Junk Synchron from negating the effects of Full Speed Warrior, so if you have Scrap Warrior on the field, you will get the effect of Full Speed Warrior and you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This is why it really sucks that we had to get rid of our Scrap Warrior because we would just get a free search off the effect of Full Speed Warrior. However, Herald of Arclight is just way too important. Having a negate before you make your Junk Speeder is just too crucial, so unfortunately here Full Speed Warrior can't get a search for Junk Signal, but don't worry, later in the combo we will get that card. Now you're gonna take your Junk Synchron and your Full Speed Warrior to Synchro Summon Junk Speeder. Now the effect of Junk Speeder will activate on Synchro Summon. Now this card will let you summon as many Synchron tuner monsters from your deck as possible that have different levels. We're gonna summon level 1 Jet Synchron, we're gonna summon level 2 Assault Synchron, we're gonna summon level 3 Revolution Synchron, and we're gonna summon level 4 Stardust Synchron. Now the effect of Stardust Synchron will activate. If this card is normal or special summoned, you get to take a spell or trap that mentions Stardust Dragon and add the card to your hand. This is where we get a search for Junk Signal. Like I said, cutting out Stardust Illumination is so great because the card is just a brick and we don't need it anymore. Stardust Trail is a very good card but completely unnecessary in 2026. It honestly feels really great cutting out 2 bricks in our Synchron deck that we don't need anymore. Now we're going to use our Assault Synchron and our Junk Speeder as Synchro material to summon Zaren the Chainbound Dragon. Zaren the Chainbound Dragon is a Synchro tuner, however this card can be treated as a non-tuner Synchro. That's incredibly good because now we can take our Zaren the Chainbound Dragon and our Jet Synchron to Synchro Summon. Now normally in this part of the combo you would summon Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, but you don't have to use that card anymore. Instead we're going to summon Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary. Now the effect of Jet Synchro is going to activate in the grave. If this card is sent to the grave as Synchro material, you get to take a Junk monster and add the card to your hand. We're going to get a search for another new card, this is Junkmeister. Now this is also another good reason why we're not running Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon anymore. The reason why is because when that card is Synchro summoned, it will let you target a level 2 or lower tuner monster in your grave and summon it to your field. Whenever you summon Junkmeister from your hand, you're always going to want at least 2 zones open on your field. You're going to see why in a second. We're going to activate the effect of Junkmeister in our hand. By revealing a Junk or a Stardust Synchro monster in your extra deck, you get to summon this card from your hand. I have a copy of Stardust Warrior in my extra deck, so now we get to summon Junkmeister. If Junkmeister is normal or special summon, the card will let you add a Junk card from your deck to your hand. We're going to search for another new card, this is Junk Armor. Junk Armor has a really good effect. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you get to summon this card from your hand. We're going to activate this effect and summon our Junk Armor. Now Junk Armor also has another effect. You get to tribute this card on your field and special summon 1 Junk or Synchron monster from your deck in defense position except for this card. We're going to activate this effect on the field and tribute this card to summon another copy of Stardust Synchron from our deck. This is why you always want to have at least 2 zones open when you summon Junkmeister. The reason why is because if you don't, you're going to summon the Junkmeister but you won't have another zone open to summon Junk Armor. You always had to do this step in the combo later, but now that you're not running Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, you don't have to wait. Now the reason why I summoned another copy of Stardust Synchron from my deck is because I want to summon a very specific Synchro monster. We're going to use both of our Stardust Synchrons as Synchro material to summon Visas Amritara. Now I know this might look a little weird because Stardust Synchron is a tuner monster. How are you able to use 2 tuner monsters to summon a Synchro monster? The reason why is because the materials to summon Visas Amritara is 1 tuner monster plus a light monster. Stardust Synchron is a light monster, so we can use 2 of them to summon this card. Now the effect of Visas Amritara will activate on Synchro Summon. This card will let you add any spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Visas Starfrost. We're going to get a search for Martyrdom or Framing. This is a very good counter trap. When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect while you control a Synchro monster, you get to activate this card. You get to negate that card's activation, and then if you control Visas Starfrost, you get to destroy that card. This card is very good, and it's how you're going to beat Dark Ruler no more. I know a lot of people don't like running Visas Amritara, but for me, I can't play a combo deck in 2026 that loses to 1 Dark Ruler. Other cards like Forbidden Crown are also really popular right now in the OCG. There's also a really strong card in the OCG called Illusion Gate. What that card will do is destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and then you get to summon 1 monster from their grave ignoring the card's summoning condition. A lot of people in the OCG are running Dark Ruler No More and Illusion Gate. This is why I don't want to be weak to that in my combo. So another really cool thing about Visas Amritara is that this card is a tuner monster, so we get to take this card and our Junkmeister to Synchro Summon the Crimson Dragon. Now the effect of the Crimson Dragon will activate. If this card is special summoned, you get to take a spell or trap that mentions the Crimson Dragon and add the card to your hand. We're going to get a search for Synchro Rumble. Now we're going to take our Revolution Synchron and our Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary to summon Cursed Thunder God Jiraishin. This card is a very good generic level 11 Synchro monster. This card contributes itself during your opponent's turn to either destroy all face-up monsters they control or all face-up spell and traps they have. This is a pretty amazing card, it's just a free board wipe. The reason why it's always good to have this card is because sometimes sometimes you don't want to negate something, you just want to get rid of a card. It's always good to have removal on the opponent's turn. That's a quick effect. Now you're going to activate the second effect of the Crimson Dragon. This card will target your Cursed Thunder God Duration and return itself to the extra deck. Now you get to summon a Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck that has the same level as the monster that you targeted. Cursed Thunder God Duration is level 11, so we get to summon our Majestic Shooting Star Dragon. Now the very cool thing about the effect of the Crimson Dragon is that it treats the monster it summons as a proper synchro. This is how you're able to summon Shooting Majestic Star Dragon from your extra deck. Now normally it would be very hard to cheat this card out from your extra deck because this card has to be first properly synchro summoned, but like we discussed before, Crimson Dragon treats the monster it summons as a proper synchro, so you get to summon this card. Now normally what you'd be able to do here is activate the grave effect of Revolution Synchron. This card will let you send the top card from your deck to the grave to summon this card from the grave as long as you have a level 7 or higher synchro monster on the field. This card will also become a level 1 monster if you summon it from the grave off its own effect. Now this would be really great normally because we'd be able to summon this card, then use the card as material with Majestic Shooting Star Dragon to summon Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl. However, there's one really big issue here. Because we have Herald of Arclight on the field, it will banish any card sent from the deck or hand to the grave. Now that's a really big issue because if we attempted to activate the effect of Revolution Synchron, the top card of our deck would get banished instead and Revolution Synchron would not summon itself. This is because the card that Revolution Synchron mills has to go to the grave to summon it. This is really unfortunate that Herald has this Floodgate effect because it hurts us as well. If we didn't have this effect, you wouldn't have to run Synchro Rumble here because you'd be able to summon the Revolution Synchron from your grave. But unfortunately here, you're gonna have to play Synchro Rumble and activate this card to bring back your Jet Synchron. It sucks because I would like to cut another Garnet from my deck like the Synchro Rumble, but I'm not gonna be able to. Maybe in the future we'll be able to cut this card. Now you're gonna take your level 1 Jet Synchron and your level 11 Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. You're gonna Synchro summon level 12 Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl. Now we're gonna activate the effect of Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl on Synchro Summon. This card will special summon as many Dragon Synchro monsters from your grave as possible. However, if you activate this effect, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. So now from our grave, we're gonna summon Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary, and Zeron the Chainbound Dragon. So even though Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl only has 0 attack, this card has a really cool effect. This card will gain attack equal to the original total attack of all other Synchro monsters you have on the field. Herald of Arclight has 600 attack, Cursed Thunder God Duration has 3100 attack, Zeron the Chainbound Dragon has 2800 attack, Shooting Majestic Star Dragon has 4000 attack, Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary has 2500 attack, so in total Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl will have 13,000 attack. Now this is honestly really good, and a lot of people think the attack gain is irrelevant, but it does come up sometimes. The reason why is because now in any Synchron deck, you will never lose to another tower monster again. So now we're going to set our Matadom or Framing and our Junk Signal and pass our turn. Also, Quetzalcoatl has another effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you get to return one Synchro monster you control back to the extra deck, then you get to negate that activation. That's honestly really good, because after you use the effect of Zeron the Chainbound Dragon, you just get to return him to the extra deck. So this card is just another free monster negate after you got the Soul Charge effect, so that's very good. So now you're going to set your Matadom or Framing and your Junk Signal and pass your turn. So in this combo right now on your board, you have at least 7 negates right now and a board wipe. You get 1 from each of the Synchro monsters, and you also get 1 off your spell and your trap card. You also have a face down counter trap, so you always get to beat cards like Dark Ruler No More or Forbidden Crown. Now I know that some people are gonna say that you don't need the counter trap to stop Dark Ruler No More. The reason why is that people are gonna say all you need is Junk Signal plus Zeron the Chainbound Dragon. The problem that I have with this in testing is that you're not always gonna be able to negate the Dark Ruler with this combo. The reason why is because in Yu-Gi-Oh! A player cannot chain block their opponent if they have a response. If I activate a card as Chain Link 1, I cannot immediately activate another card in my hand even if I have a card that I can activate as a quick effect. The reason why is because whenever a player activates an effect, their opponent is always the first person who gets a chance to respond. So if I activate a card as Chain Link 1, I can't activate another card, my opponent gets a chance to activate a card as Chain Link 2, and then I get a chance to respond. My card would be Chain Link 3, not Chain Link 2. This is why negating Dark Ruler No More with Junk Signal and Zeron won't always work. If they activate Dark Ruler No More as Chain Link 1, you're going to activate Junk Signal as Chain Link 2. Your opponent then has a chance to activate another card as Chain Link 3, and then you get to activate Zeron as Chain Link 4. Effectively, what happened is you got chain blocked out of responding to the Dark Ruler No More. You cannot negate it anymore. Zeron the Chainbound Dragon as Chain Link 4 cannot negate a Chain Link 1 Dark Ruler No More. This is why it isn't always reliable to count on Zeron and Junk Signal to negate Dark Ruler No More. You're not always going to be able to do that. This is why I like having a counter trap. No matter what, I will always be able to stop Dark Ruler No More. Shooting Majestic Star Dragon is also a very strong card. If your opponent activates a card or effect, you get to banish this card from the field, negate that activation, and banish that card. Once Majestic Shooting Star Dragon leaves the field, you get to activate the effect of Assault Synchron in your grave. This card will banish itself from the grave if a Dragon Synchro monster you control is tributed or banished. Now you get to return that monster to the field. What makes it even better is the effect to negate a card is not once per turn off the effect of shooting Majestic Star Dragon. This means that you can activate this effect again if you want to. Also, after you activate the first effect of Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary to negate a card and tribute itself, you get to activate this card's second effect later in the turn. This card will banish itself from the grave to summon another Stardust Synchro monster from your extra deck. We're gonna summon Stardust Warrior here. This card is just another negate and will negate the special summon once when your opponent summons the monster. The card won't summon itself back from the grave because it wasn't treated as a proper synchro, but it's just another free negate. Now I am very happy with this combo. The board here that we have is a lot weaker than the first combo I showed you, but I think it's well worth it. We got to cut out a lot of bricks from our deck like Stardust Illumination and Stardust Trail. On top of that, we also got to get a search for Junk Signal in our combo. This combo is also still another 1-card anti-Nibiru anti-Dark Ruler combo. On top of that, you still have 9 negates and 1 board wipe effect for either monsters or spell and trap cards, so you have 10 interruptions in total. On top of that, you still have plenty of Synchro monsters left in your extra deck. You have 5 in total, which means you can still summon Feldra's Harmonia from your hand. Even though we still have a full board, after you activate the effect of Quetzalcoatl and return Zeren to your extra deck, you're gonna have a free spot. On top of that, you get a ton of free spots in the extra deck to run whatever you want now. Fitting another card like Malong into your extra deck for Harmonious was gonna be really difficult before. Because you have so many free spots in your extra deck now, it's not gonna be a problem at all. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do in this video. I just wanted to update my Synchro combo guide and make the deck a lot more consistent. Another card in the deck that I may consider cutting is definitely Revolution Synchron. In theory, this card is so good for the deck because it can be used in the hand as Synchro material. The card is also a level 3 Synchron tuner monster that can summon itself back from the grave. However, as you saw in this combo, it does conflict with Herald of Arclight. I'm honestly not even sure if I would cut this card yet. The main reason why is because if I did cut the card, what card would I put in its place? It's mostly just Herald of Arclight though that's making this card useless in the grave. I really wish you didn't have to mill the top card from your deck to summon this card, it could just summon itself naturally. If it did, that would be great because it would also be a level 1, so you could use this card along with the shooting Majestic Star Dragon. That way you'd be able to summon Crimson Dragon Quetzalcoatl without the use of Synchro Rumble. I honestly would have liked that a lot because then we can cut Synchro Rumble, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. Despite all of that though, I'm still really happy with the new support that Synchron have gotten. It's really good. The new cards that they got in the premium pack are very good, and so are the cards that they got in Blazing Dominion. I honestly can't complain. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys for the next video.